confused, everyone.
Let's get dangerous.
This is so cool.
I know.
It feels so right.
Speak, Ciely.
I'm sorry, who is this?
Nice try, Moonman. Pretending not to know. Earth's greatest mastermind.
You just made the list!
I thought you said that was a myth.
Just because it's a myth doesn't mean it's not true.
If you all blindly follow my plan, we may have a chance.
Sure, we talk about it all the time.
Really?
No, burn.
Game on, you ducks. It is another episode of All In Speedrun, and I figured we'd do a little update on preseason news, some of the players that I've moved a bit, and yeah, nice little taste of how these quick episodes are going to go. So let's start with the Breece Hall situation with the Jets. About 50% of the snaps, and again, it's only preseason, week one. Not going to overreact too much, but I will say moved him down a few more spots. I was already lowest, or not, I say lowest, I don't know everybody out there, but one of the lowest on Breece Hall because I did believe in the split with Braylon Allen, mostly because I don't know how many people have focused on this, but if you go back to Justin Fields, his best days with the Bears and everything, and I know part of this is chicken and the egg. Did he have good running backs? Did he not have good running backs? But still, either way, the running back alongside of him for a lot of the green zone inside the 10-yard work went to the bigger running back to get some of those rushing touchdowns, and that was always my biggest concern here is that Breece Hall wasn't going to be that guy, and even with his passing game work, and I do think Justin Fields can support some of that, I did think that there was going to be some lost opportunities to Braylon Allen. Tony Pollard, with the Tahj Spears injury, I was pretty low on Tony Pollard for the fact that he was a fringe RB2 last year, despite getting the vast majority of touches until late in the season, and I was thinking of more of a split. And even that being out for the entirety of the preseason and questionable for week one, I did move up Tony Pollard just a few spots. On the flip side, Kenneth Walker still not getting out there. This is... How many years are we going to deal with this Kenneth Walker situation? He's turning into James Conner at this point. Maybe even worse. But anyway, Kenneth Walker down a few spots, Charbonnet back up. That was after I had moved up Kenneth Walker after talking to Michael Sean Dugar of The Athletic, saying that Kenneth Walker's plans by the team were for him to be a bell cow, but this injury, we can't ignore it. Similar situation with injuries. Cam Skattebo for the Giants, I thought would be a big threat to Tracy to be similar to Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren type of split with the Steelers, and the fact that, yeah, Tracy is a great complementary piece. Some fumbling issues. I understand Skattebo had some of those as well, but I thought that Skattebo was a threat in the fact that he could do better between the tackles and has the passing game upside. But Skattebo not being on the field, especially as a rookie, Tracy moved up, Skattebo down. The Jaguars situation with Tank Bigsby, not seeing any of the early work. Basically, Travis Etienne saw 100% of his snaps with the first team, which points to us that Etienne's going to get the first crack. And as we know, and the excitement we had for Liam Cohen coming over, I'm going to take a shot on Etienne. I was already getting a few of him, but I moved him up even a few more spots. Bigsby's biggest concern is that even if he was the lead, how much passing game work would he get? Another running back, and this one hurts. It hurts in the fact that I had a lot of shares so far because I was taking late flyers on him, but I would say it wouldn't hurt so much for the fact that he's a late flyer. He's a 13th or 14th rounder. But it's Jaylen Wright for the Dolphins. A lot of people were excited last year. It was a miserable rookie season for various reasons, but with no more Raheem Mostert, with this backfield still employing two running backs value, I thought that Wright had a chance to not only be the replacement if Etienne were to get hurt, but potentially even carry RB3 value as getting a few touches every single week. But he's looked bad again. And now Ollie Gordon, I remember 2023, and Ollie Gordon was supposed to be a deadlocked first rounder in the NFL draft. He's showing back up, and I think that he actually fits the Mostert role a little bit better than Jaylen Wright. He doesn't have the explosiveness of Raheem Mostert and can't hit that top speed, but I do think he could be the option, similar to the Braylon Allen situation, more of a thorn in the side, less so for Etienne. I still have Etienne at top 10, but as in the fact of somebody who's going to get some opportunities, and on the Dolphins, even better than the Braylon Allen situation, that means some touchdown opportunities, which in non-PPR, I wouldn't forget the name Ollie Gordon, if he wins the job over Jaylen Wright, and Wright is keeping the door open for him. Speaking of backups, two of my favorites, they are rookies. I've mentioned them before in other podcasts, over on the Fantasy Pros and some of the articles, but I think they're both getting a little bit overlooked. DJ Giddens for the Colts, I'll come back to him in a second, but Tahj Brooks for the Bengals, who I think is a lot like Chase Brown, and if something were to happen to Chase Brown, I think Brooks could step up and be at least an RB2. But back to the Colts, because there's a lot to talk about with them. We know Anthony Richardson busted up his finger. I still believe that Anthony Richardson, if he can play and stay healthy, which that's the big question. I was just talking with my buddy last night, and have you ever seen a quarterback with a more disproportionate 240 pounds? Like, I look at this guy and I'm like, there's no way he's 240. Like, is it all in his
Pork chop sandwiches.
Like, where is the 240 pounds? But anyway, it's not even that. It's the fact that even being as big as he is, he just does not know how to run and not get hurt. Like, Robert Griffin, go tell him what you learned in the NFL. Hell, Anthony, go spend some time with Lamar and learn how to stop getting hurt. So I think Anthony Richardson is somebody that I would still take as my second quarterback if I waited on quarterback, for the upside that, look, he can be top 10 even without throwing well. But the big question is, can he even make it through 15, let alone 17 games? Anyway, that comes back to some other things with the Colts. But back to the running back here is DJ Giddens, who I think has plenty of upside. I compared him a bit to David Montgomery, especially from a production standpoint. Some similarities to their games. But DJ Giddens, I believe, and it looks like this is the case, is going to be the backup option if and when Jonathan Taylor gets hurt, which that's another one. Jonathan Taylor, 3 straight years of being hurt. I think Giddens deserves to be in more people's radars and more drafts. So with this team, with Tyler Warren looking great, obviously, we knew Tyler Warren was going to be great, but the wide receivers, I was in on Josh Downs. I think that Josh Downs can work with Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, but this is kind of starting to lean towards I might just avoid everybody. You know, my old buy the cake, not the icing. Well, there's even more icing this year. These are like 5 layers of icing because it's Warren added in. Michael Pittman's back and healthy. No pun intended. We don't know for how long or if that back will hold it for the entire year, but Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, and now Adonai Mitchell is starting to look good. A.D. Mitchell, he's somebody that was thought of highly as potential a year or two down the road. Once drafted, he would make an impact in the NFL. And this is just another option where even if this was Geno Smith at quarterback, there's just so many options on this team. It just kind of feels like committee by wide receiver by committee, which means take the cheapest, and even then, I don't know. But who else we got to talk about? Oh, there's a big fall at wide receiver. Kyle Williams. I was lower than most on Kyle Williams. I had some people that were talking about the coverage of the team, saying that he was getting early off-season buzz. And I'm like, you know what? For the highest ceiling, I could see it. But Kyle Williams is apparently, at least from week 1 of the preseason, way down the depth chart. Way down. And the top options were DeMario Douglas, with Kayshon Boutte and Mac Hollins, which tells you all you need to know, that if Kyle Williams is all behind all 3, with Stephon Diggs, Kendrick Bourne, and who else was out? And Jalen Polk even got banged up in this game. But he's way down the list, and I think that, you know what, guys? I have to do it. He didn't make the list! DeMario Douglas, I'm moving up the ranks. Kyle Williams, way down the ranks. Stephon Diggs, as my wide receiver 4. He's 31, blown me last year. I don't know how much we could expect out of him this year. Although, hey, maybe he gets back to wide receiver 3 status. Marvin Mims, that's the next one for the Broncos. I am moving him up. He was clearly the number 2 for the Broncos. On the flip side, Pat Bryant doesn't look like he's going to be an option outside of replacing Courtland Sutton at this point. I did think Pat Bryant was a Sean Payton type wide receiver in the Michael Thomas, Marquise Colston mold. No, not value. I didn't think he was going to be a top 12 wide receiver. Just that usage in their offense. But like I said, Marvin Mims, clearly the number 2. A little concerning there. Evan Ingram not getting a ton of routes that we would expect, and also not the targets while running said routes. So just one game, not overreacting yet, but I also said that Evan Ingram would need 110 plus targets to be a top 10 tight end, and that looks like that might be dicey. 2 more. Zay Jones, moving him up, although I'm still not drafting Zay Jones, but moving him up and Michael Wilson down. Zay Jones is playing the number 2. And lastly, to come back to this whole situation with wide receivers and tight ends, similarly to the Colts and Evan Ingram talk and everything like that. Darnell Mooney. We expect him to be healthy at some point. We don't know when. Should be this year. The should be this year has to be the most holy crap, that does not sound good situation, which I don't know if you guys hear that. Do you hear in the background? I wish I could do some Stone Cold music right now. You know, I'm going to overlay that myself. It's my own podcast. I can do that now. So now you are listening to it. That is Kyle Pitts music, everybody. Here he comes. It's time to take the flyer on Kyle Pitts and get burned again. I've mentioned this before, though. I think I mentioned it on the very first podcast. If it doesn't hit in the first 3 weeks, you can move on. But if it does, can you imagine the value? Can you imagine the trade offers? Oh, fun before we get out of here. I don't know if you guys saw my tweet, but I tried 2 new cereals and could not be more disappointed. Oh, I have a movie thing here, too. The Captain Crunch, it was orange creamsicle or something. Not very good. Not very orangey. Really bad aftertaste. And then this one hurt me. This cut deep. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, strawberry flavor. I mean, it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch. How do you mess it up? Apparently with strawberry flavor, because it tastes like a damn candle. It's not like I'm sitting here chewing on candles while I'm watching TV, but holy crap, that was terrible. Also, go see Weapons. It is more of a thriller than a horror movie, but I mean, definitely has some jumps and horror movie-ish to it. But terrific. If you saw or liked The Barbarian, I thought this was better. And Nicole was into it, which is, hey, look, she hates horror movies, and she really enjoyed it. So there you go. Cereal, movie, fantasy football. That's what you came here to expect, and that's what you're going to get. I'll be back again. Just like Darnell Mooney, I don't know when, but it'll be a lot sooner than Darnell Mooney.